You have to lie about me now. That's where you're at. Because you're seething that I have an audience and people are super chatting and donating and signing up to my Patreon, and it's driving you insane. You can't handle it. And I'm calling you out for what you are and what everyone says about you. And you're a vindictive asshole and you're mean. You're not a good guy. You're a mean dude. And you think you're turning people and they're not. Mersh just needs eyes. Mersh will do anything for an audience at this point. He would love the money I make on my shows. He goes 7 hours, 5 hours. I go like an hour and a half and I fucking clean up. These guys wish they had this. So they need each other right now. So let's watch Geno. He really thinks people are going to be like, you know what? Geno's on to something. It never works, Geno. You lose people. You lose people. Every time you rant and rave about me, you lose people. Every single fucking time. You see this guy? You lost him. He gives a membership every day. Sometimes he gives 5. Sometimes he gives 10. And then, you know what? Just to stick it to you even more, he went ahead and became a $100 tier member on my Patreon, Geno. It's not working. Like I told Kiki earlier, you're not a good podcaster. You're not getting a new audience. Either are you, Geno. And you guys can make me the enemy. I'm the bad guy. I know. Because I'm telling the truth. What an asshole.
And you do if I do a different lie, they won't believe, they'll believe the second lie, because who would lie twice?
Chad fascinates me. Because
you're goddamn right, Mersh. Get in line. Get in line, Mersh. Let the ball washing begin.
I've had a few run-ins with Chad, and they've always been a little odd.
I've never met Mersh. I've never, ever met Mersh my entire life. I met Royce. Met him at the Orlando Improv. Mersh was very, when I DM'd him once, he's like, you met Royce, not me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know who the fuck you are.
And this is where it ties into the Aaron thing, because Aaron is, all right, so Aaron was a guy that everyone at ROTC hated. Like, they all hated him, right? And every time I would come into work, people go, yeah, Aaron stole another bit of ours, or he's doing one of our things, or he's, and I would just come in and be like, he's not a bad guy. He's just a radio hack. He's fucking harmless, whatever. I was always like, I don't really get as upset as other people did with Aaron. And to this day, Aaron is still going to play.
I know Geno's watching this because he watches everything. Don't you feel like a bitch? Just a bitch running to these people like Carl and Mersh for an audience? And you're shitting all over your former friend, a guy you hung out with, played golf with, had breakfast with, went to his home. He invited you in his home, flew you out to Minnesota, gave you money, let you get drunk on his tab. Don't you feel like a bitch and a user, Geno? You have to. Or do you just see it? Are you going to spin it like he got arrested, so I can't hang around with him even though you took your allowance from Cumia for 8 years? You look really bad, Geno. And I know you don't like me, and I'm a bad guy because I got a DUI in 2012. Well, charge reckless operation. To your defense, to your credit, I should have gotten one, but I had a really good lawyer, And I wasn't a millionaire by any means like Anthony Cumia, who pled guilty to domestic violence for breaking a woman's hand and biting her. I don't care what a woman's doing. You don't do that. You just don't. And getting fired from SiriusXM, $1 million gig for calling black people savages. This is your idol. But Geno, you got to look in the mirror, man. You got to quit saying I'm the bad guy. I'm a piece of shit. I did this. And you got to really reflect within and say, you know what? What I'm doing is not working. It never works. My audience is dwindling day by day. I'm getting kicked off YouTube. Every time I go to shit on Chad, people super chat him and they Venmo him. Something's going wrong. Every time Kiki goes live with her mom, they're getting less and less viewers until they talk about steel toe. Something's going wrong. What are we doing wrong? We need to evaluate our situation and correct it. But no, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go on Mersh's show and shit on me. You're going to go on Carl's show and shit on me. And by the way, Carl's audience are not pleased with you. So if you think you turn people, you didn't. They don't like you. Somebody sent me all the Reddit threads. Don't ever have Geno on again. Geno's awful. He's horrible. These are the reviews. These are your Yelp reviews, Gino. I'm just letting you know. And I'm the bad guy. I know. Can I cover up Mersh's fucking Venmo? I can't. Fuck. Put my Venmo up there. I want Mersh to make money off of me. I don't. Earn it, Mersh. Earn your own money. Don't use the Mud Shark or Gino.
Off like, oh man, obsessed with me much? And it's like, no, your life has been absolute gold for us. So Aaron, I'm annoyed at because years ago tied into the Zumock thing. When he was having his thing with Zumock, right? He was freaking out, like, oh man, he's going after my wife. He sounded like fucking Stuttering John. He's trashing my family, like all that shit. So I'm like, whatever, dude. So I reached out to him because I thought I'll be a nice guy. So like, I'm giving him advice, and he's like, yeah, April's gonna quit. She can't handle Zumock. And
shout out Stallion19, everybody, for this clip.
This and that. And I said, look, Aaron, I'm going to give you a word of advice, man. I've been on this internet shit a lot longer than anybody else. Royce and I have been around for 9 years.
I love Mersh is always like, hey, I've been around for a long time. He's always like Sam Elliott. I've been on this internet merry-go-round for a long time. I know how this works. Listen to Uncle Mersh. Uncle Mersh will tell you what to do. Yeah, I'm not going to Mersh for advice about anything, ever.
Well, we've been around for fucking 20 years doing this. We've been making money at it for 9. So I'm like, I know a thing or two about the Kiwi Farms shit and that whole sector of the internet. And I'm like, listen,
Uncle
bro,
Mersh, everybody.
I'm like, if you remember Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Chad Zumock, and by the way, to this day, Aaron has a chatter in his chat that's literally a reference to me, where I said, if you can't beat up Chad Zumock when you're playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out, he's like Von Kaiser. He's like the third guy you fight in the game. He's not the weakest guy, but he's also
great analogy.
Not even, he's still in the regional circuit.
I'm okay, like, all right, Mersh. Okay, yeah, we get the analogy. Where are you going?
Beat Von Kaiser on the internet now. You're not cut out for this. I wouldn't lean into it. I wouldn't get involved in drama farming and content because if you can't handle Chad Zumock, if you can't handle the internet at its Chad Zumockiest, you will not be able.
Meanwhile, he has Geno on. This is such a bad look for Mersh talking shit about me, where I'm doing way better than Gino is in life. Just in life, I'm just doing way better than Gino.
To deserve it at its Kiwi Farmiest, because they're gonna fucking ruin him.
Yeah, he's the
greatest advice I ever gave Aaron was like 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I told him, you need to decide if you want a co-host or a wife, and once you figured that out, then you can make your decision going forward. But these two things cannot reconcile forever. And he didn't listen to me.
Again, the only reason Mersh is on YouTube is because of me right now and people clipping this. I mean, he can't go back on YouTube. I'm looking at 2 guys who got kicked off of YouTube. So we're not going to you for advice about anything, ever.